Welcome to the sumptuously sadistic world of Salt and Sanctuary. Seem eerily familiar? Yeah, we thought so too, but trust us, this isn't just some run-of-the-muck crappy Dark Souls clone. Oh no. This game is much more than that. Salt and Sanctuary pays a clever, if tongue-in-cheek homage to the amazing Souls series, replacing the current 3D approach with the retro 2D side-scrolling and platforming that fills many of us Metroidvania fans with a lip-quivering swell of nostalgia. But, does Salt and Sanctuary live up to the lofty standards we've set for a Dark Souls experience? Well, let's find out. Salt and Sanctuary's aesthetics are grim and gorgeous, offering wonderfully dark areas that will send giddy chills up your spine. The overall tone lures you in with a subtle, almost curious warmness, coaxing you onward one step at a time, only to entrap you in a deadly menagerie of death-dealing enemies and difficult platforming. An obscuring fog always seems to be looming over the screen as you progress through the open areas. Unsettling sound effects and an eerie musical ambiance enhance the creepy-crawly atmosphere. You will hear the clanking of armor and soft footsteps echoing through the narrow corridors as you navigate. There are also these quiet moments of nothingness that will really immerse you in the hell-stricken universe. They will urge you to get a move on in the bleak hopes of reaching the next sanctuary where you can relax, if only for a brief moment. Anytime a game can instill a fight or flight mentality within a player, it is quite an accomplishment. This game does that exceedingly well. The player character design was a bit strange to me at first, but as the game progressed and new armor and weapons were obtained, I came to appreciate the style and animations. The character creation portion of this game is nothing to write home about, but the relative quickness and simplicity make it an acceptable concession. In all honesty, your character's appearance doesn't really matter, as most of the armor you accumulate will cover up your basic appearance anyhow. Admittedly though, it is always fun to create someone, or something, unique, and I say something because there are a few strange character origins that seem to resemble something straight out of a horror movie. Want to look like a blood-sucking bat person, or a grotesquely rotting zombie? Salt and Sanctuary gives you these options. As of right now, I don't know how these origins affect the gameplay, but they are cool nonetheless and a welcome addition. At its core, the gameplay of Salt and Sanctuary is comprised of a few simple tasks: run, jump, climb, roll, attack, and block. The trick is to combine and utilize these basic actions in the most efficient way possible. Many deaths result from the lack of precise roll or a misjudged leap. However, it is usually entirely the player's fault. Very seldom did I walk away feeling that the game was unfair or unresponsive. With a few tweaks in your gear setup and playstyle, any challenge can be overcome. You have 2 meters, health and stamina. While it does regenerate rather quickly, your stamina drains from practically anything you do, be it jumping, rolling, or attacking. Even magic spells will drain your stamina bar. This adds an element of strategy to consider when facing a difficult adversary. You can heal, regaining all of your lost health and stamina drain through the use of refillable items acquired from Sanctuary altars. Just like with Dark Souls, the enemies respawn once you stop to rest. Newer players may be annoyed by this, since regenerating foes seemingly defeats the purpose of even fighting them at all. But fighting the same bad guys over and over again yields combat practice, as well as gold and precious salt. Gold can be used for the usual purchasing of weapons, armor, and inventory items, such as bombs, spells, and bows that will return you to the most recent altar you visited. Much like the souls you collect in Dark Souls, here, salt is the currency that enables you to level up your character, weapons, and armor. Managing salt can be tricky. It is in your best interest to level everything up accordingly, so planning what to level up and when is crucial. It is in your best interest to have a solid idea of what character build you wish to take before venturing into this game. Unless, of course, you want to learn it for yourself, then more power to you. Just be prepared to start over. quite a few times. As previously mentioned, sanctuary altars are the safe houses of this game, and afford you a brief respite before continuing onward. Offerings can be laid upon the altar in order to unlock merchants and different services, which include blacksmithing, general goods merchants, and an interesting adventurer guide capable of transporting your character to any other sanctuary that likewise houses a guide. Oh, how convenient. Offerings will also unlock grant bonuses to the current region you are in, such as an increase in gold drops or attack bonuses. Offerings are fairly easy to come by, so long as you are up for some exploration. I found this new game mechanic provided a breath of fresh air amid the palpable murk and suffocating stench of death. Yo, guess what? There's co-op. Not only that, this sucker has jolly good couch co-op, a gaming style that has almost entirely fallen by the wayside. Remember those offerings I was talking about? Well, the Stone Sellsword offering opens this co-op option. Once the NPC sets up shop in the sanctuary, you must select hire, and poof, a friend can now join you on your perilous journey. What's even better is your new hire can pick from their profile's roster of characters and use them. There are, of course, some restrictions for the Sellsword player, like not being able to purchase stuff from the vendors or make offerings. Just leave that up to the host. Also, don't forget, if the host or hired comrade is being an ass, just break an egg item to initiate PvP mode. No one escapes this battle until someone loses their life. 2 severed bloody thumbs way up for providing this option for the players. Bravo. Weapon variety is quite good, and the look of some of the armor is just awesome. I mean, who doesn't want to wear a pumpkin head helmet while it's fighting off the spawn of Satan? Oh, I almost forgot. There's no map. Yeah, it sucks at first, but then you start to realize the genius of the intertwining level design throughout the whole game. Once I realized there was no map, I never wished for one. Most areas will become very familiar to you, and soon you'll know where the items and areas are, like the back of your skeletal hand, because you will probably die. A lot. My best advice for a new player is this: patience is a virtue, so aspire to be virtuous and slow down. The enemies are quite memorable and very well done, from gross zombies and giant knights to fearsome flying reapers. The nightmarish creatures that inhabit this game are both unnerving and refreshing. Each area changes up the enemy brood quite a bit. Though some foes may be annoying to fight, they all look pretty damn good. Similar to Dark Souls, Salt and Sanctuary makes sure to include some very tough bosses. Fans of the Souls series will feel right at home with these hard-hitting brutes that leave the player minimal room for error. Even though some of these battles seem impossible to win, especially the very first boss, you can beat the odds with strategy and persistence. Now, take those monstrosities down. It really is so satisfying when you accomplish such a difficult task. Although this is a great game, it does have its issues. As mentioned previously, the platforming can be a bit wonky. Practice will surely train you to overcome this issue, but if it was a bit more fluid, then you could focus your time on mastering other aspects of the game. There was nothing more frustrating than dying because my character didn't latch onto a life or death ledge during a boss battle, or even amid a simple skirmish. The inventory system is definitely the weakest part of this game. First off, when you push options, your inventory pops up, but the game does not pause. This is actually what I like about the inventory setup. Just like Dark Souls, the game does not stop because you need equipped or unequipped items. You are required to be prepared when entering into combat, making sure you have the correct loadout before pressing forward. But the inventory navigation and setup is quite obscure and at times hard to figure out. I had the most trouble comparing relevant item stats to my currently equipped stats, which caused me a lot of frustration and really slowed down my experience. Eventually I figured it out, but it was buried too deep within the description and item view toggle for my liking. This information should have been placed right in front of you, as a convenience. We already have enough to worry about. I don't need to be looking for hidden spreadsheets while I'm trying to fight Hellspawn. I mean, come on. Yes, it's an homage, I know. I said that. Salt & Sanctuary doesn't try to hide this, and not one bit. As much as I love Dark Souls and Bloodborne, which we here at Flock of Geeks Gaming award Game of the Year for 2015, this game is too similar, with no real original thought behind it, to be given props for what it was basically just repackaging and served to me a second time as a 2D casserole. Even though it is a damn good tasty casserole. Ska Studios created such a cool video game here, but I think it would have been even better if they would have taken some liberties and created entirely new dynamics to propel this game forward, out of the shadow of its all too obvious counterpart. With quality like this, I wholeheartedly trust and expect them to create another original game, or at least some sort of original content added onto a game similar to Salt & Sanctuary. The feeling of accomplishment that this game provides is akin to only one other series of games, Dark Souls, so they sure got that right. There is a steep and treacherous learning curve, but the difficulty spikes will make you a better player, as you edge your way ever closer to the end of the game where your skills will be truly tested. The journey that Salt & Sanctuary takes you on is a pretty amazing one that will no doubt leave you wanting more. The shift from 3D to 2D is a refreshing take on the Souls-type gameplay. However, I just can't shake the feeling that Ska Studios took liberties with the Souls titles, just to get their foot in the door. I'm sure they love the Souls series just as much as we do, but simply changing the name of a few things isn't quite enough to pander me out of noticing I'm eating Dark Souls casserole. Perhaps if this game does well, which it seems to be doing, we can expect more original ideas from Ska Studios. Maybe they'll create a new series that we all will undoubtedly grow to love. Is this game perfect? No, but it is an excellent homage to one of the best gaming series of all time. Do yourself a big favor and pick it up if you have a PS4. It's also coming to beat in PC at a later date. The amount of content you get for less than $20 is fantastic and well worth your hard-earned cash, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. We've got a game that will easily keep our interest and keep us killing these spawn of Satan until Dark Souls 3 comes out.